Hi everyone. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets to the universe, think of it in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. He also said, my brain is only a receiver. In the universe, there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, inspiration. I have not penetrated into the secrets of this core, but I know it exists. And we are all these natural, energetic, vibratory receivers, senders and receivers, receiving and emitting energy signals all the time. And I think that more and more people are waking up like never before, coming out of the fog of unconsciousness, of conditioning, and frankly of the subtle and not so subtle mass brainwashing that has been perpetuated through mass media, television, film, and so on for decades. And now we have video games and other forms as well. And I think that this waking up is happening in part due to people who have a desire to raise levels of consciousness and awaken humanity on a global scale. So more and more people are speaking up and speaking out. And one recent example that I can think of is Roseanne Barr, who recently said publicly that MK Ultra rules Hollywood, and that most Hollywood players and A-listers are too afraid to speak up about it. And regardless of anyone's opinion of Roseanne, she is courageously speaking the truth. So I give her a lot of credit for doing that. And for those who may not know, MK Ultra was the name for a previously classified research program through the CIA's Scientific Intelligence Division. It was the CIA's program of research in behavioral modification and perception manipulation of human beings. That's heavy. Research in behavioral modification and perception manipulation of human beings. And that's quoting the New York Times. In simple terms, it was about mind control. It was originally called Operation Paperclip. So Roseanne is quite rightly saying that Hollywood is a tool used in the manipulation of human consciousness, used as a tool for behavior modification and perception control in human beings. And she's right. I mean, it's pretty obvious for anyone who has the eyes to see what's going on. It's not really all that subtle, is it? And by the way, this is declassified information. It's publicly available to anyone who wants to look into it a little bit or research it a little bit more. Now, this is an image of water sound images. On the left is the 432 hertz, and on the right is an image of water at 440 hertz. Now, if you think about music, music might possibly be the most widespread form and easiest way of mass conditioning and programming tool. Okay, because music is universal, it's worldwide. And there's a theory that 440 hertz music is a tool that's used to subconsciously program us, to in effect psychically poison the mind of the individual and the masses. Now, maybe that sounds dramatic, but this is not science fiction. This is more like science fact at this point. There's a lot of evidence to support this. When sound waves move through a physical medium, such as a body, air, water, and so on, the frequency of the sound waves has a direct effect on the structures which are created by the sound waves as they pass through the particular medium. So as they pass through our body, for example, it has a direct effect. Elsie Vincent said, this unnatural standard tuning frequency, 440 hertz, removed from the symmetry of sacred vibrations and overtones, has declared war on the subconscious mind of Western man. And Dr. Leonard Horowitz wrote a paper called Musical Cult Control, where he writes, the music industry features this imposed frequency that is herding populations into greater aggression, psychosocial agitation, and emotional distress, predisposing people to physical illness. So just think about that. Predisposing people to physical illness. And most music in the world has been tuned to the unnatural, unhealthy 440 hertz ever since the ISO, the International Standards Organization, endorsed it back in 1953. There's a theory, and some call it a conspiracy, that Hitler's propaganda minister, Joseph Goebbels, used 440 hertz to alter people's consciousness, to make them think and feel a certain way. Goebbels was given the power over all German radio, press, cinema, and theater to disseminate the propaganda. His propaganda principles included: to be perceived, propaganda must evoke the interest of an audience and must be transmitted through an attention-getting communications medium. In other words, like films, television, mass media, and so on. Another one of his principles was propaganda must facilitate the displacement of aggression by specifying the targets for hatred. And another, propaganda must be easily learned and repeated again and again and again. So in 1940, the United States joined the 440 hertz bandwagon by introducing 440 hertz music worldwide. And then 13 years later, it became the ISO standard. Now, I'm not an expert on this topic by any means, but from what I've read, the natural vibratory rate of nature and life in the universe itself is 432 hertz. And 432 hertz is considered an alternative tuning called Verdi's A, which transmits healing and well-being energy, because it's a pure tone of sacred geometry and math that is basic to nature. So it transmits a healing energy as opposed to 440 hertz that predisposes people to physical illness. And there's a new form of music known as ambiance. Ambiance 432 hertz. Now that's as in A-U-M, ambiance 432 hertz. And it's become popular with therapists who play the ambiance music during their therapy sessions. And there's also a dance music tuned to 432 hertz that's called A-U-M, Mega Trance Dance Music. And when I was talking about this the other day, someone asked me if all music was tuned to 440 hertz. No, it's not. Not all contemporary music is tuned to 440 hertz. In fact, Bob Marley was one musician who tuned his music to 432 hertz, as one example. And there's a lot of others at this point. I know Stephen Halpern has some albums, some healing albums, tuned to 432 hertz. And like I said, there's others as well. You can find and listen to 432 hertz music on YouTube and other places online. SoundCloud has a group of music pieces 432 hertz, and you can access that by going to soundcloud.com/groups/432-HZ-music. And I've heard there's an app that tunes music to 432 hertz. However, when 432 hertz music is compressed to MP3s, it loses 70% of its healing effect, according to what scientists have measured. So it loses quite a big chunk, 70% of the positive healing effect when it's compressed. And I'm going to post some links with this video for anyone who might be interested in more information. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there if you just Google the stuff that I'm talking about. So the bottom line is it's all about individual choice and choices, moment to moment, every day. And being mindful of what we allow to be in our immediate environment and what we allow to be introduced into our consciousness, into our mind. And being mindful of what we listen to, what we look at, what we watch on TV, what we focus on, what kind of films we watch, what we look at on the internet, online. And, you know, it's about what we allow to enter our sacred castle, if you will, our mind, and therefore our body, because it's all connected. Our cells and our DNA respond to what our physical five senses are taking in every moment of every day. So may we all be mindful and choose wisely. Until next time, peace and blessings.